Also, mini lesson on how the patriarchy started. So, agriculture. Agriculture was the main thing that caused humanity to go from, you know, being having a bunch of empathy and people socializing and people, taking care of one another to patriarchy was agriculture. That was the gateway into that. Because before, when there was like hunting and gathering, people had more time with each other and stuff, and the meat was good for days and stuff, so they had free time with each other to chat, socialize, because they needed to rely on one another. So, they could function as a society, right? As like humanity. That's kind of just what humans did. And, and then they would like paint and stuff and like, participate in in hobbies because they just wanted to. They had free time and they wanted to just feel fulfilled and stuff. So, and they were good. They had time, like they hunted food and then that food was good for like 3 days. But then when agriculture was introduced, there was something to lose, right? There was like time, hardcore labor. There was resources. And then eventually that turned into property. And then property turned into like women. And by that I mean women are not property, but then, men started viewing women as property because, women have spiritual wealth. So what I mean by that is, women would be looked at that because like men suddenly weren't as wealthy in the spiritual department because they switched from hunting and gathering to being more like about agriculture and stuff. So they were working hard on the fields all the time. So, there was never time to socialize with anybody. People got very like, this is my stuff, nobody take it, scarcity, lack mindset, fear, because there was these people at the top who scared everybody shitless with owning their properties and stuff and having things to their name. There was something to lose, right? So then they look to their women to like, be spiritually okay because women naturally have that. And then that's how everything got into lack, fear, and control and power. And that was that icky shift. And then people stopped talking to each other. People stopped being together because of love. They started being together because of duties and responsibilities and survival. Because people didn't want to lose things to their name. All that hard-working, back-bending labor, which caused them to die really early. And, so that's how women started being looked at as property because, they also had their offspring, which they could, give their inheritance and their wealth and their land to. So that's how that happened, and where the lack of empathy kicked in was all the, the resources and scared to lose it. And so essentially greed, fear, control, and power is what shifted and came into humanity as agriculture started. So